Right, Janice, so can you just tell us a little bit yourself and who you are, what you do, what you're all about, what your politics are?
I'm Janice Atkinson, I'm the MEP for the South East of England, and my politics are conservatives, centre-right conservative, real conservatism in the mode of Thatcher and Reagan. And in the European Parliament I sit with the ENF group, which is Europe of Nations and Freedom. It is what it says on the tin, and that comprises of people like Marine Le Pen, Geert, Straka, who is running Austria, and also the great Matteo Salvini, the new king of Europe, running Italy.
And so you've recently, is it recently or how long have you been criticising Islam? You've started speaking out about it, haven't you?
I think it's relatively recent. It's since the obviously the terrorist attacks in the UK and across the world, in particular Paris, and you see that it's a particular evil ideology that people have to be divested of, and we're in a war now. We really are in a jihad war, and we have to win to keep our Western culture, identity and our freedoms.
And how's that working out for you? I noticed that you tried to speak about Tommy Robinson in the European Parliament and they shut your mic off?
Oh, they did. They shut my mic down 3 times in the past month, and I had an urgent human rights question, which always happens on a Thursday. Human Rights Day is Thursday in the European Parliament, so I cleared it with my group and I cleared it with the president who was overseeing, the vice president at that particular time, who was overseeing the whole parliamentary procedure. So you before you start to vote, you raise your arm and you are asked to speak, and I said I had an urgent human rights issue to talk about. And he's a UK political prisoner, and his name is Tommy Robinson. At that point my mic was cut off and the place erupted, apart from our groups on the right of the Parliament, and I had a furious row with Ashley Fox, who is the leader of the British Conservatives, and actually shouldn't be the leader of the British Conservatives because he is no British Conservative. My mic was turned off, but as I've said on numerous occasions, whether I'm talking about South Africa or if I'm talking about other human rights issues, only certain humans' rights matter in the Parliament. It certainly isn't the likes of South Africa and Tommy Robinson.
Douglas Murray, in his book The Strange Death of Europe, he says that instead of going after the root cause, we're kind of chasing after and making examples of people like Tommy Robinson and anyone who dares speak out about Islam. Is there any truth to that, you think?
It's a strange one. I mean, I don't know Douglas. I've read him over many years. He writes for The Spectator and others. And I always find it quite difficult when somebody like him, who is sort of part of the MSM establishment, it's okay for him to criticise Islam and write a book as he did, telling the truth. And all we say is exactly the same thing on our side of politics. But, you know, his book has now become a bestseller, he's touring the world, and you go to London, Charing Cross and other stations, and his book is up there for review and to buy. But we're not allowed to do that, and I think it's because he's got very many friends who are, you know, the Telegraph, the Spectator, etc., whereas the rest of us are not giving a platform now. It's been shut down. It's only their friends that are allowed to speak about it, and that's a very dangerous thing because he speaks in quite an academic way, whereas we speak for the grassroots and we speak in a more sort of Daily Mail edited version, and I think that's very dangerous, that you're selecting the people that can be a critic of those that are trying to preserve our culture and identity.
Well, he has the Henry Jackson. He does have a think tank,
yes.
doesn't he?
Yeah, who are considered far right in some quarters.
Yeah, and I think it's his voice and his education, just
Absolutely.
the way his delivery,
Yeah,
he gets away with it.
Yeah.
So, can we talk about bacon now having become a weapon in the UK? I mean, prior to today, dropping a bacon sandwich would be littering, wouldn't it? But now you have that man Kevin who died in jail. He had a year's custodial sentence. A girl in Edinburgh got a year's sentence for putting bacon near a mosque. In Camden there was 2 Polish men who threw bacon at a mosque. They were caught immediately, yet the mosque was given overnight police protection. And this is in the face of a police budget they met that is apparently strapped for cash. Are Muslims getting preferential treatment?
Yeah. Oh well. When you look at the crimes that the wholly Muslim population are committing against their women, so they are forcing them to wear burqas, they're forcing them to live under Sharia law, forcing them to have female genital mutilation, forced marriages, underage child sex, grooming and raping gangs. I think it's tipped too far to the other side. Yeah, I live in London. We're taking this in London at the moment, and we've got Mayor Khan, or Carnage as I call him, to coin a UKIP phrase, is more interested in shutting down free speech on the internet, where he's got 800 to 900 police officers in the Met, paid for by us, that are targeting us on Twitter over silly hate crimes. It's gone too far the other way, and if you carry on like this, with the Met Police that's being politicised, and people like May in Parliament and her government is targeting people like us, and we're quite a vast army now, you know, the People's Army is growing again, and that's reflected in the polls. People are very, very angry, and people are very angry that they don't have free speech and that bacon has been weaponised. It's ridiculous, and also, you know, bacon is sort of linked with being anti-Muslim. It's ridiculous. It's one of our national dishes.